I just go by Sarah, but my artist name is just Sarah Faye.
So my name is Kathy, but my long name, which you don't have to use, is Katharina Radas.
I currently live in Davao City, but I have only started living here about a year now. My family is originally from Davao, but I actually grew up in the States, in California, and I moved to the Philippines in 2014. I went to college in Siliman in Dumaguete City, and I graduated last year with a bachelor in music, major in music education. So that was a huge part of my life. So I figured, why not major in it, you know? So, yeah. And then after I graduated, my family moved back here to Davao. So all my family on my mom's side is here.
I was born in the Philippines and I grew up here, but my dad is German, so I'm half Filipino. And I do have family in Germany, like my grandparents. So I kind of grew up in between these two cultures. Although most of the time, you know, na ako din sa Cebu. Because my parents were missionaries, so we traveled a lot. But we were based mostly here in the Philippines. And yeah, I grew up with, you know, the heartache of goodbyes and the passion of ministry and serving God and all that. And I've always loved singing ever since I was a little child. And during my puberty, I started writing songs it was my way of just, you know, dealing with all those teenage emotions and the lie that it is. So yeah, but it was just my personal songs. Like I would never really sing them to anybody. But then whenever we would go to Germany for visits, like every 2 or 3 years, and then my parents would like go to different churches and my dad would preach and promote the ministry here, and then that's when I like first got the opportunity to sing in front of people. And then most of the time I would sing like my own songs. Yeah. And also in church I grew up singing good. Well, personally, my dad, because my dad is also a singer and he writes songs. And like growing up, my dad would always not always, but sometimes he would write a song for me on my birthday or for my mom. And so I kind of got that from him. And yeah, he also has like an album that he released, and he was, I don't know how old, a long time ago. And one of the songs, a song he wrote for my mom, and I just love that song. Like I want it sung in my wedding. So yeah, he's definitely really inspired me to do music. And he's also the one who like would buy all kinds of CDs back when CDs were still a thing. And we would listen to them in the car. Like I remember my dad was so random, like we would have Beyonce, Taylor Swift, David Foster, and we would just play all kinds of songs in the car, Earth, Wind and Fire. And yeah, that really, really inspired me to make my own songs. My mom was also in a choir when she was in college.
I don't really come from a family of whole musicians, but my mom was also a voice major. She took she graduated another course, and then after she got married, she took another course in Manila to be a voice major. And yeah, she grew up, I grew up with her always, not really forcing me, but in a way forcing me to always be performing, especially in church. My first solo, I was like 3 years old, and I have a video of it still. And yeah, like growing up, I think I was always surrounded by music. My mom was the sort of like the performer one. Like I would always hear her perform songs, and she was the one who would push me to sing. And then my dad was kind of the influencer of kind of the music taste. Like my dad isn't really a musician or a performer, but he is a music lover. So like sort of similar to Kathy, like my dad would listen to all kinds of genres of music, and ABBA and all that stuff. Actually, my first ever CD, Taylor Swift, my dad was the one who gave it to me, and like so he was like one of my influencers with music, and also a big influence also with my music, I think, was my older brother. I don't know if he can hear me, he's probably in the other room, but my older brother, we actually had a band together when I was in high school. When I was a sophomore in high school in the States, we had a band together. It was like a Paramore cover band. I was like so obsessed with Paramore in high school. And a lot of the music that I listened to was because of my brother. And actually, the reason why I started playing guitar was kay naibo ko sa akong brother, like kay may na kayo siya mag-gitara ko nung high school me, then kanang I was like, may ko pala mag-guitar, then like he taught me a few chords, and it was more on like nasuya-suya, like wala akong brother mag-guitar, then I started playing too. So that was a huge influence for me.
In my third year, I moved into Sarah's boarding house, and then that's where it started. Boom. It started with just us. Like, I remember we were sitting on the floor. We were just having, talking, and then we realized, we have so much in common. Like, coming from two cultures that are so different. Sarah's American and Filipino, and then I'm German and Filipino. So we just clicked.
It was a big part of it was like what Kathy mentioned, was that we were able to connect on that level of being a third culture kid. So it's like when you come from two different cultures and they become one culture, it's it's a third culture. In Dumaguete, I was being a music major. Nakaagi jud kog time nga wala jud ko ginasulat nga original songs, and like mala kayo kung creative side bitaw. Okay, I think that's the kind of struggle that a lot of music majors go through, is that when your passion becomes your assignment, mandatory na siya na maghimo kag music, mag-perform ka, it becomes just a chore na, and wala ipang flame for doing creative things. For a while, I wasn't doing anything as an artist or writing any new music. But it was only when I started singing in a jazz band in Dumaguete that when it kind of like ignited my creative side. And honestly, actually, I've never told Kathy this, but meeting Kathy was a huge part of, Kathy is a very creative person and very expressive. So like when we became friends, we really connected on a deeper level. And when I met her, I was like, okay, I do have a creative side. Di ay nga ginatago na ako all these years as being a music major, and I was already graduating during that time. So and then out of nowhere I just started writing music again. Padulong na graduation ato nga time, and actually during that time, that was when I wrote Filters, my song that was my entry for Min Pop.
I found out that she sings and writes songs, so I was like, show me your song. And then we were like sitting on the floor of our room, just singing songs to each other, and that's when we realized, we could sing together. And then we made our first cover of a worship song called New Wine, and then it just started from there. And then one day, Sarah was invited to a gig, and she invited me to sing with her. And then from that moment on, it became a regular thing. Like, we got invited to do more gigs together.
Actually, that very first gig that I was invited to, and I asked Kathy to sing with me. Like, I remember I had her sing with me for the first two songs of my set, and everyone was like, when she left, everyone was like, why'd you tell her to leave? Like, they were expecting her to stay there the whole set. And I was like, okay, people like how we sound together. We started to get more invites, and we started to just sing together as just Sarah and Kathy. We were not a Sarkathm thing. And
eventually we wrote a song together, and we didn't think that it would become anything. Like, we didn't think that we would ever publish it or something. A friend of ours helped us, and so we were able to release our first single like right after we graduated, which was amazing. Right after we released our single Moving Out, we both moved out. Tara went to Davao, I went to Cebu, and we both did our review for board exams and all of that. And then it's kind of just disappeared.
When I moved to Davao, I was super kanang marag nag-uulti ko kay I had kind of my music career going for me already in Dumaguete with the band and all that. But we really had to go our separate ways, Kathy and I. Yeah, and then all these opportunities started to rise up here in Davao, which I didn't expect. Like in pop, and even after Min Pop, people were inviting me for gigs.
We didn't stop writing songs. That's the funny thing. So we still kept writing songs together. We call it LDR songwriting. Like Sarah would send me a guitar riff and some lyrics. I would add to it. And so we had like 2 or 3 songs, I think. 2 songs. For many months last year, I just kept thinking, oh, we should record these songs. We should release them. Like, oh. And nothing happened. And then, then suddenly the door just opened for us to make music together again. So that's how we managed to record our EP.
When we were able to record the EP, it was really interesting. It was like things just fell into place, which is our first track on the EP, actually, Falling Into Place. That song is actually very significant for our journey as Sarkathm, because it was kind of like, with everything for us as artists, as a duo, as Sarkathm. For me personally, I feel like we didn't really have to chase after things or opportunities for us as a duo. It's kind of like things just fell into place for us. And, it was just a huge blessing for us that we were able to, make friends, and our friends believed in us. I think we owe that so much to the people that know us and the people who have heard us sing together, that they really believe that we could be more than just, Sarah and Kathy, but we can actually write songs and record them and produce them, and they're actually worth, sharing to the world. And, that was a big thing for us, that things just, opportunities and things just fell into place for us, and this EP is, the fruit of that. Maybe I'd say there was like 5 that we were looking at. There was like coffee and oats and like leaves and just stuff about nature, just like the really cheesier stuff. I remember we were just hanging out, and one of our friends was like, we were like saying like we should be an actual thing, like a duo. And one of our friends, he was like, you guys could be called Sarkathm. And we were like laughing so hard, and we were just like, that's so ridiculous. What a stupid name. Like, honestly, I hated the name for a while. I was like, Sarkathm, it's so cheesy. But then, like, it just became kind of a running joke. Like, haha, Sarkathm. Like, oh, it's Sarah and Kathy, Sarkathm. When we recorded our song, or when we had the opportunity to record, we were like, okay, we actually have to have a name now. We had like a whole list of names, like coffee and oats, twigs, and I don't even know.
It's been fun. Honestly, it's been such a dream come true. Because I always thought the songs I was writing would just remain in my journals and in my phone recordings. Like, suddenly when the door opened to like step out, I was like, wow, so it's been amazing, and it's been challenging for syempre. It's not easy being an independent artist, but at the same time you have so much freedom and and so much space to grow.
I mean, there's pros and cons, because like you get a lot of connections. I mean, it's important. You can't really be a rising star if you're not making, friends and meeting other artists and learning from other artists. But on the other hand, being independent artists has a lot of challenges. Like, if you don't have the means to be an independent artist, it's like, medyo kakalihok if wala kay kwarta. Being writing artist has its challenges, especially, trying to self-promote, especially being independent. We do everything, the marketing, making the posters, and managing social media. And, when Kathy was here in February, I was so,
busy before she arrived, I was like trying to make connections and trying to get us more gigs for that week para sulit iyang kita rin. So yeah, and actually it was so busy that week. We had like a gig every night when she was here, but it was good.
For this EP specifically, like what Kathy said, we did long distance songwriting. Like I would be on the guitar and I would just send a riff to Kathy, like, oh, this sounds nice. Let's come up with words for this. Then I think for Prodigal, I think I was like, I kind of want to write this about this, but there was no lyrics yet. I was like, okay, here's the riff I came up with, and I'm thinking of this concept, and she'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool, and then she would come up with the actual lyrics, and then I would kind of just add to it, and then back and forth, she would come up with a verse, and then send it to me, and then I would just add to it, and then send it back to her until mahuman na ang song, and like it's a full song. A big influence also was, like Kathy said, like adulting, and after we graduated, I think that was a huge influence of how we wrote this EP. The title of the EP is Turning Points and Crossing Signs. So we actually just came up with this a couple weeks ago. This is actually the very first lyric on the EP. So the first track is Falling Into Place, and the first second of the song is like turning points and crossing signs. So I think the whole time we were writing these songs, we were always at a turning point and looking for signs on where to go and where to cross, you know. I mean, more than just being a lyric from one of our songs, the title of the EP really, I guess, gives a picture of where we were when we wrote these songs. We're at turning points in our lives.
Oh, honestly, like, yeah, most of our songs come from painful experiences. But finding meaning, finding purpose in the pain, and yeah, just kind of like we're a catharsis in our songs. Like our songs embody the cathartic moments we have in those painful seasons that we're going through in life. Yeah, like not knowing where to go, you know, adulting, oh my gosh, where do I go now? So it mostly came from really painful experiences that we managed to turn into something beautiful.
I remember my parents comment one time, like, mingaw daw bang paminaw na mong songs, but at the same time, I think, yes, mingaw sila, but at the same time, none of them are hopeless. Like, I feel like all of our songs are very resolute. Like, there's kind of like a resolution, like, yes, I'm going through this pain, but I'm gonna do this with my pain, you know, like, so I think that's the message that's kind of the driving force of why we write the songs. Kind of, you know, if the people listening can find or can relate to the painful experience, but can find hope through our music, you know, it's worth writing and it's worth finishing this song.
Actually, the way kay may naka-decide na i-publish niya siya kay naulang mi at first kay wala dyan na mag-ipa-produce kana professionally, like i-arrange. What we did, we were actually considering releasing this EP as mga live sessions with Sarkathm. Okay, that's actually how we recorded it. We rented a room sa isa ka studio sa downtown, and we got a bassist, a drummer, and a keyboardist, and that's it. And we had our guitars, and we just recorded the song. The result at first was kind of, you could tell na very low budget gid siya nga recording. So we recorded it in December, and it's already the July. Like, karon na mi na mag-release. It really had to go through a process na kanang i-master gid siya, and like we even re-recorded all the vocals last February. Okay, we really wanted it to sound good and justice to the song.
We shot it the day after we we launched the EP in Glass House. It wasn't really a release, it was more of a launching. So Glass House Coffee last February, and then the next day, my cousin, or he's more of like a family friend, he's like a wedding photographer here in Davao, and he wanted to like explore more outside of wedding montages. So he was like, oh, you guys have original songs, like let me do a music video for you for free. We were like, okay.
Wow, nice.
So, yeah, and then his concept was super low budget, pero nindot kayo siya. We actually shot it in my front yard and in my living room. So, yeah, and for nindot siya nga music video. So. Yeah, it was more of him. Like, I told him that Kathy was arriving in February, and then I sent him the song. I actually sent him 2 songs from the EP, and he chose that one. He was like, mas ganahan ko ani kay nana ko'y concept. I was like, okay, sige. And then, anak ko na, ikaw na bahala sa concept. So he was just pitching me his ideas, and ninot man tanan niya ideas. Like, iyahato tanan nga concept sa music video. So all we had to do was just, dress up and sing our song. So it actually didn't really, we didn't have any effort or money for this music video. Like, it was super, convenient for us. And yeah, kalit ra gid siya. Wala ra jud make preparation or anything for it. Kami ra jud nag-makeup. And like, iyang team lang jud is mga videographers. He had like 2 other cameramen with him. I think, that's a good question, actually. It's very relevant. That's actually very relevant to right now, especially like, it's really hard to make decisions with our current condition of, the whole world and society. Like, we really, it's really hard to look and see like where our career is going. And I think we are kind of at, not really putting on hold, but I think I've considered just doing it on the side. I mean, it's actually what we're doing right now, right? Like, we're working in the day and just doing music when we can in our free time. So, but to be able to do music full time, like not having to work a day job and being able to do music, that's like a dream. But we're not there yet. Layo pa mi ana.
Definitely like my online job, which I'm not bored to death because of it. Yeah. And also just making music. I've been writing a lot of songs since being in quarantine, so it's given me a lot more time to just be as an artist. And yeah, it's just really amazing.
Yeah, for me, same online job. Like I got to. Actually, I only got this job maybe 3 months or 2 months in quarantine. Before that, I was doing a lot of live streams. Like, I would get invites and stuff to do live streams. But lately, it's been kind of slow with the music side. And just recently, like 3 weeks ago, I started a little cookie business. I've been selling cookies to people here in Toril. Surprisingly, it's been very fast. Like, I've been earning more from my baking than my online job. So yeah. Just don't be afraid to make mistakes and while trying to find your voice. Because I think as artists, it's so important. I feel like there's a huge pressure for artists to have like that certain branding, like marag distinct kayo nga sound na kanang if makadungog kag Taylor Swift, like ala marag si Taylor Swift lagi ni. So like as an artist, you kind of have to find that sound for you, and it doesn't just happen like you just decide, okay, I want to sound like this. You have to listen to yourself, listen to the people around you. What are the people around you saying? And I think that's helped us as a duo, as Sarkathm, just singing with each other and listening to what other people would say. Like, people would like this certain sound from us.
If it's something you love, like, yeah, passion just prevails somehow. I like what one of my favorite poets said. He said, work is love made visible. And yeah, when you do music, like all the hours, all the money we put into it, and all the time, it's like, it's just lost in the enjoyment of it and the passion that we have for it. That's what keeps us going. It's because we love doing it. So even if we don't make any money out of it, and we're even the ones investing in it, it's like it's worth it because we love it. Don't let fear hold you back. Step out. Well, we have our Sarkathm FB page. So that's where we'll be having a live video before we release the song. So that's Sarkathm, Sarkathm. And we also have an Instagram page, and we're on YouTube as well. Same name, Sarkathm the Duo.
Yeah, and for the EP, you can stream it on all streaming platforms. That's Spotify, Apple Music, and anywhere where you listen to music. But we heard from the distributor that we're using that there may be a delay because of COVID, like their personnel aren't able to attend, and they're getting a huge influx of songs that they, people are submitting so many songs through this distributor that we're using. So plan B, if the songs don't get released, all the songs will be available on SoundCloud for sure.